Welcome to Home Sweet Loan. My name is Kristen, and I am so excited to have Amanda and JJ Rupp here with Rupp's LPT. Thank you for coming on. I think this is going to be so fun because we're going to get to share a lot about what you guys have done and how you've grown and how you started and how you are where you are today. So thank you for joining us.
Awesome. Yes, thank you for having us.
So Amanda and JJ are part of a very large brokerage here in the DeLand area. We're in DeBary, but the DeLand, Volusia County area. And they have been super successful in what they've done. And so I want to start out because I know you started in 2016 as a single agent.
Yes.
And who were you with at that time?
So I was actually with a boutique brokerage, local in town, called the Cornerstone Group.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So you started out there as a single agent. And what did you say? You did roughly about $4 million your first year.
Yes. $4 million my first year. And, it felt like a lot of work, a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
Right there.
And what did you come from before that? Where were you before that?
So before that, I did retail management. And, I initially loved it and then very quickly realized that I actually hated it after I had to work a couple of holiday seasons during Black Friday.
There you go.
So, yeah.
All right. And so at that time you guys were married, right?
Yeah.
No kids yet.
Right.
Okay. And JJ, what were you doing?
I was selling scooters and motorcycles.
Okay. All right. So both really in retail.
Yeah.
So what made you decide to move to being a realtor? Like what was like, all right, I'm going to take this leap of faith.
Okay. Well, so for me, we got started in real estate in 2012.
Okay.
That's when I met JJ and he was doing his very first flip.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of watching him through that process. He had a realtor at the time. We were going through, selling it and doing all of that.
Learning all what goes into these transactions.
Right. And I was doing retail management. And then eventually it was like a light bulb moment. It's kind of just how I can talk about it, I guess, as I was sitting there in the lunchroom at Target. And I'm like, you know what? This seems easy. I think that's what a lot of people think when they first get started in real estate. This seems easy.
I could easily do that.
Yeah, I'm like, make so much money.
Paying, $6,000 to $10,000 for commission. I could be doing this. Like this, seems easy. So to me, when I was looking for a little bit of relief with the retail management, I thought, well, if I just sell his flips,
it's a great place to start. Yeah.
We had that because we were already doing that. So it felt like a safety net because he was already in that industry.
We already had some in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Business already.
So I'm like, well, worst case scenario, if I just sell our flips, like, it'll be okay.
Sure. And at that time, were you thinking, I'm going to stay in retail and do that on the side?
No,
or
I quit my job.
Just jump right in. Got it.
You were ready to quit, and then we found out we were in the middle of getting our construction loan for our house. So literally the day after we closed on that is when I think you put your 2 weeks in.
Yeah, the day after we signed all the papers on the new construction, I gave my 2 weeks. And then I went and got my license. So I quit, spent a week getting my license, and then kind of...
Nothing like a little bit of stress pressure there. That's always good.
Yeah, and the good thing was, too, like I think for us, is he still had his steady job.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll do it worst case scenario.
I'll have to go back and
That's how I justified it.
There you go. And clearly that's not what happened. Right. Obviously, you progressed on your second year, roughly, you grew to, a larger amount of volume.
Yeah.
But then your second year, JJ joined you, right?
Yeah.
And so what made you guys decide to make that change?
What happened, JJ?
She basically said, I'm having a baby. And you're going to have to get your license.
Your baby.
You can help.
Good for clarifying there.
So
I'm this baby.
I did my class, did everything while she's pregnant. Literally on the way home from the hospital is when I stopped literally with the baby in the back seat to take my test at the Pearson View in Lake Mary.
Yeah.
So
we were
it was her and her mom and the new baby, and there basically was like, good luck getting home. We'll see you later. Hopefully you pass.
Yeah, this is a 3-hour long test, so we had to kind of drop them off.
How long it was,
My mom brought me back home with the baby, brand new baby. I'm like, don't leave me at home with this baby, Mom. Don't go anywhere.
And I pray JJ passes.
Yeah, I didn't sleep for like 3 days before because we were in the hospital with the baby, and it took like an extra couple of days there.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right,
fun to look back at, though. I mean,
I just remember how desperate I was. Like, if this man doesn't pass this test when he gets home, I'm gonna just mentally break totally down.
So they printed out the paper. It said pass. I had to call my dad, call my brother, whoever I called. Like, can you come pick me up?
No Uber at that time, right?
No. My I walked in, I gave her the paper, and she's like, "Thank goodness."
Now, at this time, have you quit your job yet, or were you kind of
No, so it was like family business, so I was still doing that at
okay?
the same time. Yeah.
So you guys joined, and JJ, now you've been in the business since 2017, 18, I guess. And how did you guys manage growing as a team? So now you've got a baby at home, right?
Yeah.
And now you're both working together.
Yep.
And so you're at home and in the workplace. How does that work? How does that look?
Yeah. So, well, at first, JJ was doing both, at the scooter shop and doing real estate. And eventually it kind of came to a point where I was like, we're getting so busy, we kind of need to pick.
I would just go on her
Are we
like
gonna
appointments.
go all
run
in
around, so.
on, franchises with the other business, or are we going to go all in
Right,
on
which
growing
direction are
our
we
real
taking?
estate business? So we ultimately obviously decided to do our real estate business, and we did that, and then we were working away, working really hard, and then one day JJ was like, let's join an agent to the team, and I was like, wait, what?
You're like, wait, it's been you and I, and
I was like, this
things
feels
are really good.
yeah, like we got a routine going, and I was really scared because I just wasn't sure what that would look like.
Yeah.
So I was a little more on the, well, I don't know, and JJ was a little more on the, you can do
this, yeah.
plan. So that's how it started.
How did you guys evolve just like as a married couple and in the office as a team? But how did you guys decide, like, define roles and who was doing what, and like how did that look?
I don't think we ever really like truly define the roles. Yeah, we just kind of
Naturally,
she's more good at what she does, and I'm kind of more good at what I do, and we kind of just
thankfully it just wasn't the same stuff.
yeah.
So there was never like this like divide of like, no, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And JJ's really good at like picking up the slack, picking up. So in the beginning, I think the only thing that was maybe kind of obvious is I was like, well, I have this new baby. So you're going to have to kind of like go on the appointments, like be a little more boots on the ground. Like,
well, and you're both great with people. So it's not like one of you is more introverted.
And we went together a lot.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it was, we would go together on a lot of things.
Yeah.
And then eventually, he was busy still doing investing. And then once he suggested bringing on an agent, well, that kind of was like, well, that's going to be your thing. Let's bring on an agent. You're going to deal with them. And I was like, okay. And so that's kind of how naturally just having our own role has really worked.
And when did you guys decide? Like, when was your first agent brought on?
Well, it was, I think, almost 2 years to the day when
Right.
you got your broker's license.
Yep.
And then we did our own thing, and then it was, I don't know, a couple months into doing that.
So maybe 2018, 2019.
Okay, so you guys have been in that team environment since like 2018, 19. So you had about a couple years on your own, and then started hiring and joined the team.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How do you guys complement each other's strengths and weaknesses? I mean, we talked about obviously you don't have like defined roles, so you each know what each other does well. But like, how do you complement each other?
So, fun fact.
Uh-oh.
I've never wrote a contract. So
everybody here now.
all the slack and all the paperwork, all the contracts, all of that. So she definitely complements the attention to detail and the keeping track with.
Is that a woman thing? Or?
For me.
Naturally fall into that role.
Yeah.
So that was something that you were a lot better at than me. And we still even take that on to today.
Yeah. You still never wrote a contract. Even though we joke and threaten that if he keeps it up, you might make him actually write a contract.
I'm sure if forced, he would be able to do it.
Yeah. He knows what he's looking at.
Yeah.
Look through it and stuff. And then I think for me, like on that side of things, like JJ's super strategic and creative in his thought process. So if something comes up, that's hard to find a solution around, he's pretty much everybody's like go-to.
Think out of the box.
Yeah. Like, what do we do about this? He's also really great he's a calming kind of force and personality. So when you get those rough, tough clients that everybody has, he's good at smoothing things over. He'll be like, JJ, we need a smooth over on this. And he gets on the phone and he's just...
I'm like, why do I always got to call the grumpy people?
Because you're the one that knows how to deal with them.
That's right. There's always one of those.
Yeah.
How do you guys manage being in the office? Because now, obviously now you're in the office. How do you manage being in the office and kind of separating work life and home life to where they don't always be... Yeah, because I would see that could be hard.
But there's work life and home life intermingled all the time between both. So,
Well, I think
even when we're working, we're still, maybe focusing on some stuff at home and vacation or, other things going on even at work. And then when we're at home, we're still dealing with work and vice versa. So I feel like it's not really like a true balance thing where we have cutoffs or anything like boundaries. But I feel like we do have a good true kind of balance between.
Yeah.
what we do.
Well, I think in the beginning, because we started when we didn't have kids, so kind of what we grew our business on, which I think a lot of agents strive to do, is we're available 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
So we were always on our phone, always talking, 10 o'clock at night, no problem, like whatever it was we were doing. And then eventually, the kids came along, and I think that we've gotten better at, kind of
Work-life balance.
putting that down and being mom and dad at home and, husband-wife scenario at home. And then, another fun fact is that a lot of the business talk that we do at our house takes place in the shower. Like, we just, that's the only place we really, I don't think we really, when we're doing the kids, we're doing dinner. There's here and there, something will come up.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we try. And then,
You got goal setting in the shower. We've got I think I remember you telling me
we're trapped in there. We have to talk, so
your vision board is in your bathroom.
everything is in the bathroom. Yep.
It's a good place. Yeah, that's a good place to strategize. That's funny. Okay, so you get your first agent on, and so now you've got your first agent. How quickly did you guys start to hire on additional agents to the team?
Yeah, so initially we never really set out to join a bunch of
Have a big team.
I never had like a recruiting goal or anything like that. It was just people that were kind of naturally attracted to us and approached us and asked people. Yeah, we kind of knew.
Or the word's out that you guys are gonna, bring on agents.
And we were selling, so people, kind of saw that too, and I think just aspired to be with people that were doing sales at that level. They just wanted to be a part of it. So that's kind of how we initially started growing the team.
Okay. How do you guys determine what the agent looks like that you want to hire on? Like, who is that?
That's been getting more dialed in as the years went on, for sure.
Oh yeah, in the beginning it was like,
we'll just take it.
If you're breathing,
right,
and you have your license, you can be here. Yeah. So now, 2025, our agent avatar, kind of what I call it, is full-time agent.
Okay.
Has to fit the core values of our team. So integrity, teamwork, accountability, and positive attitude. So that has to kind of come through in the interview. And then I always like to see that kind of hunger, within someone that really want it. Yeah, it's sales. Like you gotta kind of have, there's a personality there that I think can complement how well you do in your first year, depending on just your natural personality.
Yeah,
so
you can kind of tell who's gonna take off and who's gonna kind of do a little bit better just
based on our personality.
Do you find it easier to hire on agents that have real estate experience versus not?
We actually primarily hire people with experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a kind of a little bit of a sweet spot. Someone's doing that, 3 to 5 million that wants to go to 8 to 10. They know how to write a contract. They know the basics of it. They just don't know how to kind of get people over the hump or how to get them to the next phase of the transaction.
And how to really grow the business. Yeah. Mm-hmm. How do you guys mentor the agents that you bring on? So what is it, are you meeting with them constantly? Like, how do you mentor them to grow to be, what they want to be?
Yeah. So Laura and I actually do all of our one-on-one coaching sessions with the agents.
Okay.
So that's bi-weekly. And it's all about helping them become the best versions of themselves. So it's not always just about how many houses are you going to sell. There's got to be a why, and there's got to be some other things behind that. So we're always coaching and mentoring towards who they actually want to become, where they want to go personally.
So if they want to do 10 million or they want to do 50 million, it doesn't really matter. You're just coaching to that.
Yes.
And
every agent looks like it's not just so much the
number.
The volume number. It's like, well, what are you going to do if you get to that goal, and how do we make that, a global goal of why you're even getting to that number?
Yeah. The first conversation is always really fun because it's kind of like you're in a dream state. It's like, where do you see your best life? How many vacations a year are you taking? What kind of car do you drive? Who are you married to? Like, there's questions like that.
Some wild responses.
Yeah, some stuff's very interesting. Some stuff's, a lot of vacations, I think, is a lot of what people want to get back to their family. They want to buy back that time. So sometimes you have to look at, okay, well, in life, to become who you want to become, there's money that needs
There's
to
a
be paid.
trade-off, yeah.
And so that's how we come up with their actual sales goal, is based off of what they want to do that year. So it's kind of a little different.
And I've heard you talk about, having the culture, in your office is super important. You guys do a lot of meetings and fun stuff. How do you feel like that helps?
So I think the fun stuff, and I've always said I wanted to be like a close-knit family. I don't know if that's the best way to describe it now. That's probably how I would have described it probably about 30 years ago. Now I would say it's more of like a sports team. So there's still that, in a sports team, they're all really close.
Yeah.
But if somebody messes up in your family, it's a little different than when someone messes up on your sports team.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my gosh, we want you to do more training. We want to coach you. We want to help you. If it's your brother, your daughter, whatever, you're my daughter. So it's a little different in that sense. But I would kind of say the culture is definitely, production. We have a high culture of high production. So we have that competitiveness and a lot of challenges and competitions that we do. We all play on a kickball team that's starting at the end of January together. So I think that all of those things
is back.
See you out on the field. So, we do those things to help build that culture and keep everybody engaged.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, it is. You can see it in your team, obviously, too. But it is important to create that culture, and it also helps them support each other. Yeah. I mean, they are very supportive of each other. So, I think that does help too. So you guys had a phenomenal year last year, right? So in a very tough year, a tough market. So what was your production last year?
100 million.
100 million.
Just barely.
100,800,000.
They could have been literally the last day at 4:30 in the afternoon, I think, was the last closing.
Yeah, and so not last year, but the year before, you decided to transit. Was it the year before that you decided to transition out of production and selling, and now that your team handles that?
Yeah.
What was that change like for you guys? Because that's what you've been doing really since you got into real estate.
Yeah, a big change. Yeah.
Well, I've shared this story a couple of times in the mastermind and stuff too. Is I was able to do a different mastermind with some other team leaders, and it was kind of very much a light bulb moment where they were like, you need to get out of sales and really focus on growing your team, because you can do more with your team than you can do by yourself.
Right.
And we needed somebody to
capped
tell
out
us that.
Where we were,
Yeah, we had kind of.
What was the best year you guys had as a team? The two of you?
Yeah. It was a little over 30 million.
That's still great, but to your point, if you really want to get to that 100 million, how do you get there?
Doing it
without working,
your life,
yeah, right. Yeah. So,
and some of our personal story, hopefully you're okay if I share this part of it.
We've already talked about what happens in the bathroom.
I know. So now we're gonna go to the hospital. No. So JJ had, a heart attack, and this was all right after that we went to the mastermind. And when someone has a heart attack and almost die, it kind of changes your perspective on life a little bit. So it was very much what are we doing? Let's take a look. And we decided that it would be the best route for us to get out of production, run a team, help other people live their best lives.
I think we literally decided at that mastermind with them. It's all right, well, when we get back into town, that was the thing, was rip the Band-Aid. So we announced to the team, we're not going to be selling anymore. Anything that we were kind of got going is going to be distributed to the team.
How did that shift? How did that shift the not morale, but the vibes? Yeah, how did that shift the vibes in the team?
It actually shifted, I think, positively pretty good.
Because did they feel threatened by you? Did you ever feel like that?
It was just, there was such an unbalance on the team. Amanda and me, we were doing more than half of, 15 other agents all combined.
Right, yeah.
So they were kind of looking at us okay, well, what's the secret, or what's going on, or, looking to us we're maybe trying to take stuff away from them.
Right, and that's tough.
And, that it's not the case, but it's hard when they're, looking at us in that sort of light. So
And it was right after COVID, so the good times were kind of over.
Yep.
And so everybody was, was kind of a new. So in my mind, it's kind of like the old team and then the new team. The old team is when we were selling, and then the new team, it kind of felt like a whole new refresh
I'm
version.
sure. It had to have.
of
Yeah.
the team. And I think now, 2025, we've got a really great group of people, and it's taken, a year and a half to kind of
do that.
of get all that together. But I think we definitely made the right choice.
Yeah. No, looking back now, it was a scary choice
I'm
at
sure.
first.
Yeah, because you're taking all of your business, your repeat business, and you're passing it off.
And a big portion of our income, and now putting it kind of in somebody else's hands that we're going to kind of coach to replace it and
to do what you do, but nobody ever does it the way you do it, right? I mean, that's
so one of the things we've learned with that is what is our saying is 80% done is 100% awesome.
There you go.
So you don't have to do it 100% the way I would do it,
but as long as you get to close
70 to 80% of the way that I do it,
I like that. That's awesome. Yeah,
that's kind of what we're trying to live by in 2025.
No, that's awesome. That's actually I've never looked at it that way, because nobody ever does things the way that you would, whether it's the right way or the wrong way. It's just not the way you would do it. Yeah.
Right.
So. That's a good way to live by that. So 100 million last year, and what is our goal for 2025?
150.
150. That is a big goal, and that's awesome. You guys can get there, obviously. I mean, you've grown year over year in large numbers, even in tough markets. So I think you guys can definitely do that. That's awesome.
Hopefully rates will come down, and
I'm going to work on that for you.
Can you work on that?
I've been talking to my people about that. Yeah, I'll work on that for you. Okay, so 2025 we're what, a week and a half in?
Yeah, 8 days.
Barely. It feels like it's been a couple weeks already. I feel
like it's been 2 days.
Why
is it already the 8?
The perspectives. How do you guys plan to stay, ahead of the market in 2025?
So, we've always just kind of put our heads down and worked. I don't know if that's a good plan.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Well, I think it's actually good.
We try to limit distractions on too much chatter of where the market's going.
100%.
Because ultimately, it's always best to buy 5 years ago. It's always better to have bought yesterday.
There's always people that need to buy and sell.
There's always reasons.
Yes.
There's
so finding those people, finding those niches of the people that have to buy and sell. There's people in any market. So
yeah,
we're gonna find them no matter what.
You're gonna find them. I think it's just so similar to the NAR thing. Like all the stuff that happened with the changes in how we did business last year. Everybody was so focused on, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna get paid? And if you just focused on just doing the business, and the business is there, and there are people, even with rates at the highest they've been at close to 8%, there was still volume and people buying and selling homes. People have to move, people get jobs and die and have babies and all that stuff.
All the D's.
There you go, all the D's. Yes, that's right. So, that's a great way to look at it. And I'm sure as you coach your agents, it's easy for you, maybe not easy, but good for you to kind of bring them back to that consistently through your one-on-ones.
Yeah, and we do that a lot. Yes.
And it's a constant redirect of focus, because it's easy to get distracted by different things. Maybe there is a rate increase or a rate decrease. It's like, let's not get distracted.
Right.
So it's a constant recalibration of kind of what we're focused on. And then just putting your nose down and kind of putting your blinders on a little bit.
Stay out of the news. Stay out of all the negativity.
All the rah-rah
exactly
around it.
Yeah.
Because there are people, and ultimately it's a relationship business.
Yep.
So just staying in touch with people even through the hard times. Once you get past those, they're going to want to transact with you. So.
Yep. It's about you. Absolutely. What's next for you guys? What do you see in the future for you guys?
Yeah. So for us, our goal is 150 million.
Yeah.
So I think that we're hyper focused on hitting the goal. We'd love to bring on some more really great agents. So that's a big focus of mine going into 2025 is kind of the recruitment piece.
Yeah.
We need
our
agents to
team-
help us get there.
Yeah, we need agents to help get to the 150 million. All of our agents on our team pretty much all had their best year ever.
That's awesome.
Which I think is
That's
a
awesome.
huge,
It's a huge testament to you guys. Yeah.
yeah, so we
Your
need more
coaching.
people to kind of be able to help get to that point because, you know, at some point everybody's got their ceiling of business. For us it was 30 million, for someone else it could be 50, for another agent it might be 10.
Yeah.
So, you know, you always kind of have to have more people coming on as you grow your goals. So growing, you know, is a big part of it and bringing on some great people to help.
So
do that.
getting from the 100 to the 150, you would say the way you feel like you can get there would be the growth, obviously with the team.
Yep.
And then how about the team you currently have? What are you doing to, what are you implementing to help get them maybe to their next level?
Yeah, so we've implemented a lot, I think, in end of 2024, going into 2025. So
We just implemented a lot today at our.
yeah, we have a lot of our major focus is to keep our agents busy doing what they want to be doing, which if you love sales, it's probably meeting with people in person and having that relationship. So a lot of the stuff that we built to support our agents is all about keeping them boots on the ground, keeping them at appointments,
You
keeping
mean you
them.
can't get business in your house?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta
Well,
go
you
out there.
can, maybe,
You
yeah, you
can
gotta
get
get out there.
business in
Yeah.
your house, but you gotta go out there and show
Yeah.
up. Eventually, you gotta go out of your house.
Yeah.
But our goal is to keep them in the
In the field.
field.
Yeah.
So we've created a lot of support into 24, going into 25 to help them, you know, stay in contact with high intent people and
Yeah.
motivated buyers and sellers. And a lot of times you see
Help
agents
filter through that.
wasting
how to
a
get
lot
the
of
ones to
time on-
focus on.
wasting a lot of time on people that aren't truly motivated.
Right.
And that can hurt, especially a newer agent that maybe gets overwhelmed or kind of starts to feel, you know, down about the whole, discouraged about the whole thing. And so one of the things that I think we do a really great job of is keeping them in touch with people that are actually gonna transact.
Yeah. Having those conversations, the more people you talk to, the more it's going to happen. Yeah.
That's the leverage piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, what advice, if you were to talk to another husband and wife team or getting ready to be a team, they're not a team yet, they're going to start a team together, what would be the one piece of advice each of you would give to them separately?
JJ?
Get a bigger shower.
Get a bigger shower.
Get a bigger shower.
So it's just talk about stuff and have your goals that are aligned together, and talk about what your goals are and what each of you are going to kind of do to help achieve that together, and just kind of talking about it regularly.
Yeah, because not every couple can work together.
Right.
Like obviously that's
We've had a lot of people say that. Like, there's no way I could work with my significant other. And I think for us, like, even though we don't really, I guess we're kind of blessed in the sense that we fell into our natural roles. I guess if we hadn't, then that would be a conversation that I would have wanted to have, So maybe you would have a conversation with your husband or wife and say, hey, what do you really love?
Yeah, what do you really love?
Sometimes you don't know until you start doing it, though.
Sure.
Either. So
Yeah, it's just
probably
having
best-
the communication.
Yeah, it's just start doing it and kind of talk about it and kind of mold it from there.
How is the joint office working out? I meant to ask you about that.
Yeah.
Because you guys have not shared an office.
I said maybe I'm moving to DeBerry.
I don't think there's any. You know what it is? We're just so close. So like when he has a call, that's the only thing. Is on a call. It's kind of distracting. So like I'll be doing a call on a Zoom, and then JJ will like pipe in an opinion, and I'm like, they don't even know you're like,
this is not your one-on-one.
Yeah. So that's kind of been the only weird thing. We're not sure if we want to commit to full blown headsets either, because we're trying to just. And then I got a walker for Christmas. So I can
a standing desk.
So now she's in the corner walking.
So there's kind of a lot going on.
I gotta come see this.
Yeah. It's definitely something you want to see in action.
That's awesome. Well, you guys have been super successful, obviously starting out on your own, joining together as husband and wife, growing a very successful large team, and congratulations on all your success because it's obviously not easy to do. Not everybody can do it, and you guys have done a phenomenal job. Thank you so much for coming on and joining and answering all of these questions and sharing your experiences. There's so many agents that could learn from you guys and, you know, just take a small piece of what you guys do on a daily basis or some of the things that you coach your team to do on a daily basis and implement it into their business and be successful. So thank you guys for coming on, and
thank you for having us. And two, you know, I think we didn't get to really touch on this, but I thought of it when you were talking, like a lot of the success for our business for hitting the 100 million was having good partners.
Yeah.
So like having your preferred lender, you know, having your preferred title, having those people in place can make it a game changer as far as your conversion rates even.
100%.
So I think
because it's a team. It's a team approach. I mean, I know there's been a lot of times where I've called and been like, all right, what are we gonna do? And we're just we work through it. So it's important to have those partnerships. You can't do that with a online lender.
It's a game changer for our business. Even personally it was. So team wise even more so.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for coming on.